Hey, hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, happy day, my friends. Welcome back to the Shaman Circle. I am your host, AB, and today we are diving into the concept of holistic healing. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the great things that come with holistic healing, but also a key piece of what is missing in that whole concept. And I'm hoping by the end of this podcast episode, you can have a greater idea of what holistic healing can actually look like and feel like in your own life. Now, if you were to just Google what holistic healing means, you would probably find some definition that says something along the lines of it being a particular approach to medicine or to the medical field that treats the quote-unquote whole person. As the whole point of holistic healing is to treat the entire person, not just one specific body part, one specific organ, one specific space that is in pain. It is about treating the entire body or the entire being. Now, I'm going to keep this episode a little shorter. I know last time when we talked about race and being biracial in the wellness industry, that was a little bit longer of an episode. I'm going to keep this one a little shorter, and I'm going to do so actually because we have an entire course on holistic healing and what is missing and how you can add that to your life. So if you're looking to dive deeper, my friends, we absolutely have spaces where you can do that. But let's dive in now and see what holistic healing does get right before I may find myself on a little bit of a passionate tangent. Now, what holistic healing gets right. They allow us to have, or the concept allows us to have, an emphasis on integration, right? It's not just, oh, I'm going to my primary care physician because I have a stomach ache. Like, we are integrating the mind, the body, and the spirit. So that is a lovely thing. When we open ourselves up to the concept of holistic healing, that allows us to normalize, if not popularize, some practices that used to be seen as fake or woo-woo or taboo or just straight up illegitimate. Several years ago, before it was popularized in America, yoga was one of those things. It was seen as taboo and illegitimate practice. And now, depending on who you might work for, yoga classes might be covered with your insurance. You know, we've normalized that. So there are some really wonderful things that holistic healing has done. It allows us to integrate the mind, the emotions, the heart, the soul with the physical healing. And it has allowed us as a society to be a little more open to what healing could even look like, right? Now, there is one key piece that is missing. We've normalized a lot of things when it comes to holistic healing, but just healing in general, right? We pretty much from the beginning as a society have normalized physical healing, right? Something's wrong, you've got a headache, you're giving birth, what have you. Something's happening with your body, you're going to a doctor, whether that's your primary care, whether that's a specialist, whether you are sent off to get imaging for an MRI, right? Like whatever it is, for the most part, we as a society have normalized physical health. Over the last couple decades, we have normalized mental health. We have we're starting to. As I say that out loud, I'm like, we still have some ways to go. But we have made strides when it comes to emotional health and mental health, right? We have normalized that in ways of seeing therapists, seeing psychiatrists, talking about therapy, being open about the fact that we have therapists, right? Like we have normalized talking about our feelings to go with the physical ailments, right? As a society, we have normalized, if not started to tokenize, spiritual healing, right? The meditation, the yoga practice, the goat yoga, the Reiki sessions, the cool sound bath that you go to after work. Like we've normalized these more taboo, woo-woo spiritual things. And like I said before, like even corporations are starting to see that as legitimate ways of healing. So much so that you can get massages, Reiki, yoga covered by insurance in some cases. We're not completely there yet, right? So holistic healing, the concept of healing the whole person, has normalized a lot of great things. We started with physical health. We added in the mental health. We're starting to add in the spiritual health, and that's great. But we're missing a big piece here, and that is ancestral health. Our DNA, the people who have come before us, the mom and dad that actually made you. Like, we're missing a key piece of healing when we don't normalize healing within the lineage. We focus on, and I hesitate to say this, but for lack of a better term in this moment, we focus on quote unquote surface level healing rather than deeper DNA healing. We have proven scientifically, we have the trauma of our ancestors running through our blood, my friends. Our DNA, we are quite literally made of those who have come before us, right? And so I say surface level because if we subscribe to the concept of energetic healing, that physical manifestation or that physical ailment, right? I have a headache, I have a stomach ache, my foot hurts, my lower back's been killing me for 5 years and I don't know why, right? Like those physical ailments are often physical manifestations of something that is diseased in the energetic body or a wound that we've been carrying generationally. Like the physical, as normalized as physical healing is kind of the first step to healing. There are many, many, many more layers to that. And we are, as a society, I like see an onion in my head as I talk about this. As a society, we are, as cliche as it is, starting to peel away the layers. If we start the physical healing, okay, now we've got the therapy. Now we're starting to talk about our feelings. Okay, now we're diving into the energy centers. We're diving into the chakra system. Like we're starting more and more to normalize deeper and deeper healing, but we have yet to get to the point as a society where we have normalized ancestral healing and healing the literal blood of our ancestors. That is where I'd like to think we can call holistic healing actual holistic healing. Now, this matters for many reasons. First and foremost, like I said, we are made of those who have come before us. What we face in this world is generational. It's not individual, and it's not even collective. It is generation to generation. The world does not start over with every generation. It is a continuation of life, right? And so not prioritizing our ancestral healing almost insinuates that this whole life journey or the responsibility of living a holistic lifestyle or being a decent human being like solely lies on you and you alone, when really this is a generational topic. We inherit the earth and the DNA of those who have come before us. And it is silly and naive and ignorant to not take that into consideration when we're talking about holistic healing. When we take out the ancestral part, it doesn't encourage any type of relationship with our ancestry. It doesn't encourage any relationship with our lineage. We completely bypass that very real and scientific part of our healing. And that right there, including or not including the ancestral healing, to me, is the difference between feeling good temporarily with a nice sound bath or a great Reiki session and long-term alignment with your soul's purpose and the purpose of your entire lineage and legacy. Like when we bring in ancestral healing into holistic healing, we bring it into a completely different ballpark. As deep as holistic healing is, when you bring in that lineage, when you bring in the ancestral part, you're going light years ahead of just healing the soul. Like you're healing for generations, both before you and after you. Now we have an entire course on ancestral healing, how to create an ancestor altar. But I do want to give a couple tangible takeaways of how you can incorporate that ancestral healing if holistic healing is something you subscribe to and you resonate with all of this. So pair that holistic healing with ancestral inquiry. Sit with your ancestors. You don't necessarily need an ancestor altar to do that. You can close your eyes, ground yourself, do all of the things, right? But sit with your ancestors. Ask them questions. Ask for guidance. Lovingly challenge them with your curiosity. There is wisdom running through your veins. All you have to do is open the door and access it. Be open to messages from your lineage. Quick example, and again, we have like 3 hours of video lessons on creating an ancestor altar and diving into ancestral healing, right? And there's one specific example I give. Birds are a thing for my lineage for some reason. And I'm not at all saying this goes for everybody. If it resonates with you, run with it. But for me, as someone who is biracial, black and white, when I see birds, when I see a cardinal, it is someone on my white side of the family. And when I see a blue jay, it's on the black side. And the way that over the years I figured that out is when I see a cardinal, I hear a name that goes with it. It's Scott, it's my brother, it's my grandfather, it's who have you. Because I was adopted at birth, my black birth father does not know I exist, and my human does not have like access to that. That doesn't change how strong my connection is to my ancestry, and my black ancestors absolutely show up for me in so many beautiful ways. But because I don't have a human connection to them, my ego, my brain doesn't know the names of any of those ancestors. And so when I see a blue jay, I feel a deeper presence, and there's no name that goes with it. So it's very interesting. You'll hear me say this many times throughout the series. It is amazing what happens when you allow yourself to believe in things you cannot necessarily see. And the magic, the wisdom, the presence of our ancestors, we may not be able to see it in traditional human ways, but if you open yourself up to the concept of it, you will absolutely see the signs and the synchronicities that they have for you. So, a little bit of a tangent there, but that is me saying, be open to synchronicities, not always just being synchronicities, but also being little nudges from your ancestry. Overall, you can integrate just smaller, consistent healing practices with everyday life, not just with, these huge rituals. You don't have to have a huge 30-minute ritual praying and, writing letters to your great-grandmother and all the things in order to have a relationship with your lineage. For example, if you have an ancestor altar, another example I give in that course is, you might start a little more formal, but once you get into the habit and get into the practice of being with your ancestors, your communication with them can look like, hi, good morning, have a great day. And then when you get home, thanks for everything, good night, I love you. And that 5 seconds of acknowledgement in the beginning and end of each day with consistency is huge. The acknowledgement of those that come before us, I have found, is really the portal to accessing their wisdom. So a great way to start to dip your toes into ancestral healing, to truly heal the whole person, acknowledge the fact that people came before you. Say thank you, give gratitude, ask them questions. Just acknowledge the fact that you come from something bigger than you. You come from your lineage, your ancestry, and that does not start with you, it does not end with you. And you have access to all of the power within it. All right, my friends. I think I'm gonna end us here. If you are curious about diving deeper, as I've said, we've got a whole course for you. You are always welcome to send in your feedback, your questions, your own experiences. We always welcome that. I think I'm going to leave you here with just a reminder that healing is not a trend. Healing is not just healing one aspect of ourselves. Healing is an ongoing journey. As cliche as it sounds, healing truly has no destination. So whenever you're ready, if you haven't already, start integrating the wisdom of your lineage. It takes healing the self to a much higher and a much deeper level. And if you are curious about this, but would like some guidance, some help, a mentor, a friend, you know where to find your friendly neighborhood shaman. My friends, I think that is where I will end us. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of this journey. And thank you for saying yes to the call. I hope that you find some time later this week or in the coming days to start to explore this if it's not already a part of your practice. You know, when you sit in a quiet space and you roll your shoulders back and you close your eyes and you get quiet, what happens? What do you hear? All right, my friends, I'm leaving you here. Have a beautiful day. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you on the other side.